deeper you go, the creepier the ocean gets, and not just in the way you expect. Because the deeper you descend, the more the world you know begins to fall apart. Sunlight disappears, color drains from existence, pressure rises to levels that can crush steel, and somewhere below that silent darkness, life continues in shapes and forms that look less like something from Earth, and more like something from a nightmare. These aren't creatures designed for our world. They're built for a realm where survival demands being strange, invisible, or terrifyingly efficient. Down there, nothing behaves the way it should. Nothing looks the way you'd imagine. And the deeper you push, the more you realize that humans were never meant to see what lives beneath those black waters. This isn't just exploration. It's stepping into an alien planet at the bottom of our own. Most people think they understand the ocean because they've floated on the surface, played in the waves, looked at coral reefs, or watched dolphins jump out of the water. From up here, the ocean feels friendly and familiar, almost like a giant blue playground filled with sunshine and colorful animals. But this feeling is only a trick created by the thin, bright layer we see. The truth is that the ocean is like a huge world stacked in layers, and each layer becomes stranger and darker than the one above it. What starts as a sparkling paradise slowly turns into a place where light disappears, colors fade into nothing. Pressure becomes strong enough to crush metal, and the creatures that live there look more like aliens than anything we've seen on land. The deeper you go, the less the ocean feels like part of our planet, and the more it feels like entering a whole new world that humans were never meant to explore. And once you realize how massive this hidden world is, it becomes clear that most of Earth exists in a darkness we barely know anything about. Even the sunlight zone, the part we swim in, is hiding things that can make your imagination run wild. Sharks glide quietly under swimmers, unnoticed until they choose to rise. Jellyfish float like glowing ghosts, beautiful but dangerous enough to hurt you with a single sting. Fish swim in perfect groups, moving because they sense things we can't see or feel. And even with these spooky moments, this top layer is still the safest and most peaceful part of the ocean. It's nothing compared to what comes next. Because once you pass about 200 meters, the ocean changes completely. It stops behaving like the world we know and becomes a silent, freezing, pitch-black place, shaped by pressure and darkness that no human could survive without special machines. Descending past 200 meters, the last traces of sunlight fade into a dim, watery blue, and the warm, gentle ocean near the surface is replaced by a cold, quiet stillness that can feel almost endless. This is called the twilight zone, a strange middle layer of the ocean where your eyes start to fail and your imagination can run wild. Humans instinctively feel nervous in this deep, dark water, but the animals that live here are perfectly at home. Many of them are transparent or covered with mirror-like skin, reflecting the faintest glimmer of light so they almost disappear. Others glow with tiny soft lights called bioluminescence, turning the darkness into a kind of starry sky. The hatchetfish looks like a sharp piece of floating metal, staring upward with huge eyes, waiting to spot prey. The viperfish patrols the darkness with needle-like teeth so long it can't even close its mouth, using flashes of light from its own body to trick other fish into swimming right into it. Every creature here is built to survive through patience, trickery, and careful ambush. Nothing is wasted in this dark, silent world. Even more incredible is the daily journey that happens every single night. Billions of deep-sea animals, tiny shrimp, lanternfish, squid, and more slowly rise toward the surface to feed in what scientists call the vertical migration. This is the largest movement of living creatures on Earth, bigger than any herd of land animals. As they move upward, they form a shimmering river of life, invisible from boats and beaches, yet stretching for miles. Before sunrise, they all sink back down into the deep, vanishing from view. It's like the ocean is breathing, a rhythm that has been repeating for millions of years. No human eyes usually see it, yet it is one of the most amazing spectacles in the natural world, showing that the deeper you go, the stranger, scarier, and more magical the ocean becomes. The moment we cross 1,000 meters, darkness becomes absolute. Sunlight no longer reaches this part of the ocean, and even the strongest flashlight would barely make a dent before being swallowed by the blackness. This is called the Midnight Zone, and it is one of the most extreme and alien places on Earth. The pressure here is crushing, many times stronger than a human body can handle, and the water is icy cold. The silence is almost physical, like the ocean itself is holding its breath. Yet, even in this forbidding place, life has found a way not just to exist, but to thrive. The creatures here are unlike anything we are used to. The anglerfish floats through the darkness, her glowing lure swaying in front of her massive, jagged teeth, tricking smaller fish into swimming right into her mouth. Her life is a constant struggle to eat and survive, and her reproduction is even stranger. Tiny male anglerfish attach permanently to females, fusing to her body until they are little more than living organs, providing sperm whenever she needs it. Nearby, the gulper eel moves gracefully with its huge, balloon-like mouth that can swallow creatures almost as big as itself. Its thin, ribbon-like body twists and bends as it hunts in slow, careful movements to save energy. Other animals light up the darkness in amazing ways. Some flash to communicate, some glow to attract prey, and others use bioluminescence as camouflage, blending perfectly with the faint lights from above. Jellyfish drift like floating lanterns, while strange shrimp, squid, and fish glow with pulses and flickers that seem like a starry night turned upside down. Everything in the Midnight Zone moves slowly, because food is rare, and every action costs energy. Life here has to be clever, patient, and perfectly adapted. The Midnight Zone doesn't feel like part of Earth. It feels like a completely different planet, a place where the rules of survival are unlike anything we can imagine, where even the scariest monsters are just trying to survive in a world without sun. Descending between 4,000 and 6,000 meters, we reach the Abyss, a vast, cold, silent desert that covers most of the planet's seafloor. The pressure here is enormous, many hundreds of times stronger than anything humans experience, and the water is just above freezing. The landscape is flat, dark, and eerie, with long stretches of soft sediment, jagged rock formations, and occasional hydrothermal vents that belch out scalding, mineral-rich water. Life still exists here, but it has been reshaped into forms so strange they look like they came from another world, or even a dream or nightmare. The Dumbo octopus floats gently through the darkness, its ear-like fins giving it an almost magical, childlike appearance, a soft silhouette drifting silently in the void. Its gentle look is misleading though. Down here, survival is incredibly hard, and only the clever and perfectly adapted make it. Nearby, giant sea spiders crawl across the sediment, their legs so long and thin they look like sticks stretching endlessly into the darkness. They move slowly and deliberately, almost like tiny dancers performing in a silent underwater ballet. Tube worms form dense clusters around hydrothermal vents, thriving in clouds of toxic chemicals and heat that would kill most other creatures. These vents are like underwater cities, full of life that doesn't rely on sunlight at all, but instead on chemical energy that bubbles up from the earth itself. Even the faceless cusk eel drifts through this abyssal darkness with a smooth, featureless head, blurring the line between what we expect an animal to look like and something completely alien. Its eyes are hidden under layers of flesh, almost useless in the eternal black, and its gelatinous body pulses slowly as it moves through the water. Bones are soft, muscles are minimal, and every motion is a careful conservation of energy. In the abyss, time feels stretched, almost dreamlike. Creatures drift, pulse, and float in a world that has barely changed for thousands, even millions of years. It is a place where nature has rewritten the rules, creating life forms that seem impossible, yet are perfectly at home in this eternal, silent darkness. At last, we enter the Hadal Zone, the deepest, harshest environment on Earth, stretching from 6,000 meters down to over 11,000 meters in the planet's ocean trenches. Named after Hades, the god of the underworld, this realm experiences pressures so extreme they would crush submarines and liquefy human bodies instantly. And yet, impossibly, life persists. Translucent amphipods drift like tiny ghosts along the trench walls, their bodies glowing faintly in the darkness. Snailfish, the deepest living fish known, float with jelly-like bones and skin so delicate it would tear apart if brought to the surface. They survive here by becoming soft, flexible, and nearly weightless, adapting to the crushing pressure through fragility rather than strength. At the very bottom of the Mariana Trench, nearly 11,000 meters down, cameras have captured strange, drifting shapes that scientists struggle to identify, soft-bodied creatures that look like living shadows sliding across the mud. The seafloor here is coated in fine sediment, and the world is so still, so silent, that any movement seems almost supernatural. And the mysteries don't end with the creatures. Scientists have recorded thunderous noises echoing through the deep. The infamous bloop, once thought to be a massive unknown animal before being attributed to shifting ice, though many still question the explanation. Unidentified objects, anomalies, and unexplained formations rest in the darkness, undisturbed for centuries. More than 80% of the ocean remains unexplored, meaning most of Earth is still a mystery to its own inhabitants. For all the bizarre creatures of the deep, the most disturbing fact is that some of the ocean's largest animals live at depths where no light exists, and where almost nothing should be able to grow. Down in the blackness, long tentacled shadows drift just outside the beam of submersibles, hinting at colossal bodies that slip away before cameras can focus. The giant squid, once thought to be a sailor's myth, has been filmed alive only a handful of times, and almost always vanishing just as quickly as it appeared, as if the darkness itself were swallowing it. But even more mysterious are the colossal squids of the Antarctic deep, heavier and more muscular, armed with hooks on their tentacles instead of suckers, and possessing eyes the size of dinner plates that can detect faint flashes of bioluminescence from hundreds of feet away. These giants live in a world without sound or warmth, moving slowly through the black like living phantoms. If these are the creatures we've barely managed to glimpse, it's chilling to imagine what else hides in the trenches and canyons. Animals that might be larger, stranger, and smarter than anything we've yet discovered. What makes these deep giants unsettling is not just their size, but their invisibility. They are apex predators in a realm where most predators should physically not exist. They thrive where pressure would crush whales, where temperatures freeze steel, and where food is scarce enough to starve entire species. Yet they continue to dominate a world scientists have barely scratched. Every time a deep-sea probe returns damaged, clawed, or scraped, researchers speculate about encounters with something enormous we haven't classified. A reminder that the ocean does not reveal its secrets willingly. We explore the deep with our best technology, but even our machines are fragile invaders in an environment that resists our presence at every turn. And as we continue to send cameras deeper, one unsettling truth becomes harder to ignore. The biggest creatures in our ocean may be the ones we haven't found yet. Even in total darkness, the deep ocean is not silent. It pulses with sounds unlike anything on Earth. Booming echoes, metallic groans, rhythmic pulses, and unidentifiable roars that travel for hundreds of miles. Humans have recorded sounds in the deep that defy explanation, some so powerful they can be heard across entire ocean basins. The famous bloop, detected in 1997, was so loud that it registered on sensors thousands of kilometers apart, and for years, scientists were unable to determine whether it came from an enormous creature or shifting ice shelves. Then there's the upsweep, a haunting rise and fall tone that has been repeating since the 1990s, and the Julia, a deep moaning sound that some speculate was caused by an enormous moving object. While many of these noises have reasonable geological explanations, what makes them eerie is how often researchers admit they are not completely certain. The deep is simply too vast, too unexplored, and too strange for us to identify every sound with confidence. But the most unsettling part of these ocean noises isn't their mystery, it's their scale. Sound behaves differently underwater, traveling faster and farther than in air, turning the ocean into a giant echo chamber. This means that some sounds are so loud, so powerful, that they must come from events or organisms larger than anything we've ever seen. Some noises register with signatures similar to living creatures, but far beyond the size of known whales. Others emerge from regions no human has explored, deep within trenches where no sunlight has ever reached. Scientists often record these sounds without any accompanying visual data, forcing them to speculate based on patterns that defy conventional biology. And every unexplained noise reminds us that the ocean is not empty. It is alive, active, and full of phenomena that our instruments barely comprehend. At the very bottom of the deepest trenches, the ocean becomes a place so alien, it might as well be another planet. The pressure is so intense that molecules behave differently. Sediments accumulate for millions of years, and the water is so still that disturbances can linger for hours. Here, life takes forms that challenge our definitions of biology. Transparent organisms with no eyes, creatures that live off chemicals rather than sunlight, and animals so delicate their bodies would collapse instantly at lower pressure. The bottom of the ocean is a graveyard of shipwrecks, lost submarines, and ancient debris that drifts down like forgotten memories, preserved in perfect darkness. There are places where strange microbial mats grow on toxic minerals, creating landscapes that look like snowy fields, and others where brine pools, thick, dense, salty lakes, sit on the seafloor, forming underwater shorelines that ripple under the beams of submersibles like portals into another dimension. Touching one of those pools can kill an animal instantly, yet some creatures cluster along the edges as if the danger itself gives life. The deepest ocean zones are places where time slows to a crawl. There are no seasons, no sunlight, no storms, just eternal blackness. Yet, in this extreme environment, evolution has found a way to create life that endures pressure thousands of times greater than Earth's atmosphere. These creatures represent the ultimate expression of adaptation. Soft-bodied animals that melt under their own weight if brought to the surface. Microorganisms that eat rocks and metals. And beings so different from land animals that they blur the line between plant, animal, and alien. For billions of years, this world existed without humans, untouched and undisturbed. And even now, with our submersibles and drones, we have barely entered the front door. The deeper we go, the less the ocean feels like a part of our planet, and the more it feels like a reminder that humanity's domain is tiny compared to the vast, ancient world beneath the waves. If you've made it this far, you now understand why the deep ocean is the most mysterious, terrifying, and awe-inspiring place on Earth. But here's the truth. We've explored less than 20% of it. Everything you just heard, the strange creatures, the ghostly sounds, the hidden giants, represents only the parts we've managed to glimpse. The rest is still waiting, still untouched, still hiding secrets older than human civilization. If you want more deep-sea stories, more terrifying creatures, more mysteries from the darkest places on the planet, then make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications because we are just scratching the surface. The ocean is deeper, stranger, and creepier than anything we've imagined, and together, we're going to explore every last inch of it,